Hello everyone, very good morning. Welcome to PRATHAM Test Prep YouTube channel and welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. So today is 20th, so that we cover the article is from The Hindu and Indian Express. And I'm Ashish Bhargav. I hope you guys are doing well. And daily news analysis that we discuss about international relation, Supreme Court verdict, and opinions of a person, eminent person, so that we can inculcate all these things which is required for the exam. Here is the quote of the day: a little progress each day adds up to big results. So try to inculcate all these things, which is very, very important in order to cover your syllabus, and we can say that to clear your ambition and target at whatever the goal. If your voice is high, only a few people will hear. If your thought is high, then many people will listen. So to inculcate the thought process, we have to read the newspaper, so that we have to develop such kind of things. That is very essential for the students. And you have to work on the skill as well. And we have initiative like questions of the day, that is very important, because at the end of this YouTube session that we will ask you that 3 to 5 questions. That is important because I just told you in every classes that gathering information and solving question, they are different things. So try to focus that question. They are directly extracted from The Hindu, Indian Express, Business Standard, so that you can try to find it out whether you are able to solve the questions or not. So you have to develop such kind of temperament to solving the multiple choice questions. So here the first article: set up global efforts to defeat crime, says Modi. So when their threat are global, the response cannot be just local. Each nation is working a strategy against them, but what we do within our borders no longer enough. So in the last day that we had discussed about the article of Interpol, and as we know that the crime ratio is increasing day by day, and in 2020 that biggest crime has been recorded as per the NCRB data. NCRB is, we can say, National Crime Record Bureau. National Crime Record Bureau. So while we go to the further, so as we know, among all states and the Union Territory of Delhi, Tamil Nadu recorded the highest crime rate, crimes 1 lakh people in 2020. So if you go to the background story, the chart shows the 3 states in higher, as we know, the Tamil Nadu, and then Kerala, and Delhi, and Sikkim, Manipur, and Nagaland. So India crime rate was 487.8 in 2020. This data as released by the, we can say, NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau. So if the justice delayed, is justice denied. The judicial system is weighed down by the thousands of pending cases, as we know that many states like Bihar, Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, and all these states. So only these things you need to keep an eye. Second article is a US hands over 307 antique items valued to nearly $4 million to India. So US authority formally handed over 307 antiquities estimated to be worth nearly $4 million to Indian official. So as we know that the things is that that is the antique goods, that is returning goods to ceremony in New York on Monday. And this article basically talking about like the many antiquities were seized pursuant to an investigation. While we go to the third one, Japan 6 GI tag for Nihonshu, an alcoholic beverage. So this is the first time a patent product from Japan has filed for a tag for geographical indication. So what is a geographical indication? Who gives geographical indication tag? As recently that we know that Mithila is a place in Bihar. Some part of Madhubani painting was also from the GI tag, and Mithila Makhana also got the GI tag. So this is the first time a product from Japan has filed a tag at the GI registry in Chennai. What is the procedure to any product got the GI tag? So as we know that we have to understand that IPR, intellectual property right. So it is an insignia on products having a unique geographical origin and evolutions over centuries with regard to its spatial quality or reputed attributes. It is a mark of authenticity and ensure that registered authorized users, or at least those residing inside the geographical territory, are allowed to use the popular product's name. GI tag in India is governed by Geographical Indication of Goods Act 1999. It is issued by Geographical Indication Registry, Chennai. The first GI tag we got, the product is Darjeeling tea. Darjeeling tea. Keep in mind, first GI tag from India that we got from Darjeeling tea. What is the benefits of GI tag? It provides legal protection to Indian geographical indication, thus preventing unauthorized use of registered GIS by others. It promotes also economic prosperity of products of goods produced in a geographical territory. The GI protection in India leads to recognition of the product in other countries, thus boosting exports. And if our export is good, so that we can say that it will help to strengthen our economy as well. Here is intellectual property right and World Trade Organization. IPR refers to creation of minds such as invention, literary, artistic work, design and symbols, names and images in the commerce. And intellectual property rights means providing property rights through patents, copyright, and we can say trademarks. So there are three property rights: is patents, copyright and trademarks. Holders of intellectual property rights have monopoly on the usage of property or items for a specific time period. There are different time period, like GI tag is given for the 10 years only. The importance of IPR, intellectual property right, was first recognized in the Paris Convention. It is recognized in the Paris Convention for the protection of industrial property in 1883. How do you recall this name? That 2 year later that INC was established in the National Congress. So you can recall जब INC की establishment हुई, इससे 2 years पहले हमने इसे ILP right, protection of industrial property rights, that Paris Convention we had started. And Bern Convention, Bern is in capital of Switzerland. So Bern is in capital of Switzerland. So Bern Convention in 1886 for the protection of literary and artistic work in 1886 we had started. So IPR, it was divided into two parts, as we can see, in copyright and industrial property. Copyrights within protection of distinctive signs, like we can trademark, geographical indication. So geographical indications comes under copyright and trademark. While we talk about industrial property, industrial design and trademark, which we can say patents, industrial design, like we cannot copy the logo of Amazon, Flipkart, Ola, Uber. So that is comes under industrial design. And we can say trade secrets, that is comes under industrial property. And what is the need for the IPR? To encourage innovations, and we can say economic growth, safeguard the rights of creators and ensure ease of doing business, and we can say facilitates the transfer of technology as well. So what is the validity of this tag? This tag validity for the 10 years, following which it can be renewed. Once a product gets this tag, any person or company cannot sell a similar item under the name. GI registration of a product provides its legal protection and prevention against unauthorized use by others. And GI tag help in promoting the exports of the product. So now, as I told you, if our export is well, so it will strengthen our economy as well. And it also provides comfort to customers about the authenticity of that product. This is all about the GI tag. As we know that is in India, that we can say Mysore silk, Karnataka, Solapur Chaddar, Maharashtra, that is got the GI tag. Kutch embroidery, Gujarat, Chanderi fabric, Madhya Pradesh, blue pottery of Jaipur, that is a GI tag. Arnamula Kannadi, Kerala, Kanchipuram silk in Tamil Nadu, Salem fabric is Tamil Nadu, Pochampalli Ikat is Andhra Pradesh, Bastar Dhoka Chhattisgarh, Odisha is known to be Odisha, because Odisha is a dance form. Nakshi Kattaka is West Bengal, Madhubani painting in Bihar, Kullu Shawal is Himachal Pradesh, and Kani Shawal is Jammu and Kashmir. So that kind of GI tag is, we can say, promoting the export as well. And once they got the GI tag, that people cannot be used in a such other way. That is all about the GI tag is. 6 spider species discovered across the country. So we can say archaeological from the Center of Animal Taxonomy and Ecology CUET, Christ College, Kerala, had discovered 6 new species of spiders from across the country. The new species of spider were found from the Garo Hills in Meghalaya. So as we know, Garo and Khasi Hills, the Garo Hills in Meghalaya, and Thar Desert of Rajasthan, Vairnad Wildlife Sanctuary, Kottapara Hills near Kottanagaram, and Kumbazaru Butterfly Garden near Andhripalli and University of Calicut campus. Calicut is a place in Kerala. So why it is important? Because a study conducted on the Garo Hills of Meghalaya and resulted the first Cyanops from India with a new species. A species name is Cyanops garonesis. It belongs to family of flat spiders, Selenopidae. This spider lives in the crevices of rocks on hills. The yellowish brown spider measures about 10 millimeter in length. There is a black circles around its eyes and black patches on the abdomen. Nothing more is important. Now it is the government job to appoint judges, Law Minister Rijiju. So what is the article is talking about? So Union Law Minister, and who is our Union Law Minister is Kiran Rijiju. Earlier he was in the place of India's Sports Minister. That appointing judges in the executive domain, that should be carried out the consultation with Chief Justice of India. But the Supreme Court expanded the meaning of consultation to concurrence. So speaking at the Sabarmati Samvad organized by the Panchiwala's weekly magazine published by the RSS, so it has mentioned it's not a, we can say, a political news, but we have to understand that because in the Supreme Court in 1993 defined consultation as concurrence. So nowhere in the world except India there is a practice of judges appoint their brothers as judges. People can see politics among leaders, but they do not know the politics going inside the judiciary. As we know in our country that we have independent judiciary. And why the controversy is going on? Because as we know that Chandrachud is going to become our 50th CGI. And as we know that the controversy that is all about is collegium system. And what is collegium system is all about? Collegium system is solely responsible body to, we can say committee that is able to transfer an appointment of judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court, and we can say appointment of Supreme Court and High Court Chief Justice. So as we know that collegium system, there are 5 person including CGI, and how it consider only the 5 person will select who will be the next CGI, and it goes to the Law Minister. The Law Minister recommended to Prime Minister, and Prime Minister recommended to President, yeah, this person will be suitable for the Chief Justice of India post. So in that context we have to understand like there is kind of monopoly while we are selecting the judges, because the 5 judges will select another judges. That's why it has mentioned that nowhere in the world except India there is a practice that judges appointed the brother as judges. So nothing that the executive and legislature are bound and regulated by the judiciary. But if the judiciary goes astray, there is no mechanism to control it, because we can say that independent judiciary system. This is all about the article is. Next is court cannot issue direction to frame universal civil code. Citizens belonging to different religions and dominion nations, that is universal article 40, which article is talking about universal civil code UCC. So as we can say article 44. Article 44 divested religion from social relations and personal law. It maintained. So as we know that universal Universal Civil Code is talking about that something we can say it should be quite similar irrespective of any caste. The purpose of Article 44 was to strengthen the object, the secular democratic republic enshrined in preamble of the Constitution. As we know that in 1976, 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, the word secular was enshrined in our Constitution. So as we know that the Article 44 was something that we can strengthen the object of secular, democratic and republic, and which is already envisaged in our article, envisaged in our preamble as well. So what exactly Uniform Civil Code? So Uniform Civil Code is one of that would provide the one law for the entire country, applicable to all religious communities in their personal matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption. Why it is required for the UCC? As we know that Hindu Marriage Act 1954 clearly states that only one legitimate marriage is valid, which means that a Hindu person can marry to only one person. But if you talk about the Muslim Marriage Act, Shariat, and Shariat is talking about that 4 legal marriages is valid. So Universal Civil Code is talking about something, it should be like one law for the entire country, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the caste, gender, creed as well. So such as marriage, divorce, inheritance. So Article 44 of the Constitution lays down that states shall endeavour to secure a UCC for the citizens throughout the territory of India. And Article 44 is one of the directive principles of a state policy which goes directly directives to the state to mention this. DPSP, which means directive principle of a state policy as defined in Article 37, as we know it is not justiciable, which means that not enforceable by any court, but the principle laid down there are in the fundamentals in the governance. So directive principle of a state policy clearly mentioned that it's a duty of a state to implement universal civil code so that it can strengthen the law and order for the entire state and as well as the country. And what is the status of Uniform Civil Code in India? Indian laws do not follow Uniform Code in the most civil matters such as Indian Contract Act 1872, Civil Procedure Code CPC, Transfer of Property Act 1882, Partnership Act 1932 and Evidence Act 1872. States, however, have made hundreds of amendments and therefore in certain matters there is a diversity when there is the secular civil laws, because of the reason that we have lots of diversity in our country. The origin of UCC dates back to colonial India when the British government submitted its report in 1835, stressing that need of uniformity in the codification of Indian law relating to crimes, evidence, contract, specifically recommending that personal law of Hindus and Muslims be kept outside such codifications. And what is the constitutional hurdle? Because Article 25 of the Indian Constitution that seeks to preserve the freedom of practice and propagate any religion gets into conflict with the concept of equality enshrined under Article 14 of the Constitution. As we know, the Article 14 of the Constitution that we can say that it has clearly mentioned Article 14 just a second. That equality before law and equal protection of law. Equal protection of law. So equality before law, which means no one above the law, and equal protection of law, which means that state cannot deny to any person irrespective of caste, gender, creed. So this is all about the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Now we go to the further. Macron may visit India next year, nuclear power on agenda. So French President, the name should be recalled that Emmanuel Macron expected to visit India in early 2023 with India's Science Minister Jitendra Singh. So who is India's Science Minister? Science Minister is Jitendra Singh. The technical, financial and civil nuclear liability issues surrounding the proposed nuclear power project in Jaipur, Maharashtra that are to build with French assistance. So last year, French company EDF had offered to construct 6 European pressurized reactors. So we have a good relations with that country. While we talk about India-France relation, France was one of the first countries with which India signed a strategic partnership after the end of Cold War in January 1998. And France was one of the very few countries to support India's decision to test nuclear weapons in 1998. And as we know that today, France has emerged as India's most reliable partner on issues relating to terrorism and Kashmir. Both countries have a defense dialogue as well and the ministerial level. So there are 3 services have regular defense exercise, that is exercise Shakti, exercise Varuna and exercise Garuda, that is from Army, Navy and Air Force. Recently the Indian Air Force has inducted French Rafale multi-role combat aircraft, and India entered into a contract with French firm to build 6 Scorpion submarine. Bilateral trade, which means both the countries agreed on that agreement, that is not to be a bilateral trade and economic relations. The India-France Administration Economic and Trade Committee (ATC) provides an appropriate framework to access and find way to further promote bilateral trade and investment as well as to speed up the resolution of market access. Now we can say we do not believe in hierarchical world. So Defense Minister Rajnath Singh tells African nations that India can partner with them to fulfill their military requirement and contribute to training. So because we know that India does not believe in hierarchical world order where the few countries are considered superior to others. So this is not exact, because as we know, India-Africa defense dialogue in Defense Expo 2022 that we had already discussed in the yesterday class. So we will strengthen our in Defense Expo. Defense Expo is going to be held in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, that we had already discussed. India offered fellowship for experts from African countries through Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studies. Manohar Parrikar are 4 times Goa CM and our former defense minister. So the institute name Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studied and analysis. Mr. Singh termed India and African country as an important stakeholder ensuring a safe and secure maritime environment, especially in the Indian Ocean region. While India's support to Africa deal with the challenges of conflict, terrorism and violent extremism. This is all about the article S. Next is AK-203 assault rifles production likely to begin at the end of this year. So Indo-Russian joint venture at Korwa in Uttar Pradesh will start manufacturing AK-203 assault rifles by 2022. So this is again not very important, but yes, only the few lines is very important to need to understand. So because India faces uncertainty over timely deliveries of defense supplies in the near future, and Russia is the second largest arms exporter in the world, following only the United States. So in the 5 years period 2016-2022, that USA share the global arms trade 37%. India has a major defense cooperation with Russia and also with Ukraine as well. And if you talk about the India-Russia defense ties, the India was reliant almost solely on the British and other Western nations for the arms imports. And after independence, but by the 1970s, India was importing several weapon systems for the USSR. And Russia has provided some of the most sensitive and important weapons as well. Russia has also been one of the main exporters of fighter aircraft to India, including hundreds of Sukhoi and MiG jets. India missile program has been developed with significant help from Russia or Soviet earlier. As we know, the BrahMos missile, which India will begin exporting soon, has been developed jointly with Russia. The Indian Army main battle tank force is composed predominantly of Russian. Russia was the largest arms supplier to India in 2011-15 and 2016-20. Now it's time to questions of the day. As you know, this is very, very important, because if you are able to, that does not matter if the out of 3 questions or 5 questions, 5 out of 5 is incorrect. It's matter is all about ask it yourself, is your effort is enough to solve the questions, you are getting effort. So here is the time to questions of the day. Now the first questions is here. Question first is, as we talk about, like there is some kind of dispute is going on in a Karnataka state, that the post of governor. So I have directly extracted this question from there. No criminal proceedings shall be instituted against the governor of a state in any court during the term of office. Emolument and allowance of the governor of a state shall not be diminished during his term of office. Which of the statement is correct? Only 1, 2, both 1 and 2, and neither 1 nor 2. So obvious that both the statement is correct one. C would be the right answer. So Article 361, protection of President and Governor. No criminal proceeding whatsoever shall be instituted or continued against the President or the Governor of a state in any court during the term of the office. And Article 158, condition of Governor office, that emoluments, which means salary and allowances of the Governor, shall not be diminished during the term of the office. While second question that we had already discussed in the yesterday newspaper article about Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. So Global Multidimensional Poverty Index, MPI. Statement 1 is Global Multidimensional Poverty Index is developed by the World Bank. It uses health, education and the standard of living indicator to determine the incidence of intensity of poverty experienced by population. Here each indicator is given an equal weightage. Take your time, 10 to 20 seconds, and try to solve this. So first one we can say MPI is not developed by World Bank. It's Oxford Institutes which developed like Global Multidimensional Poverty. The statement 1 is incorrect. So here is 1, here is 1, here is 1. So we can easily eliminate after applying process of elimination. So yes, second and third is the right answer. So Global Multidimensional Poverty Index was developed in 2010 by the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, OPHI, and United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and uses health, education as standard of living indicator to determine the incidence and intensity of poverty experienced by a population. Each dimension, health, education and standard of living, is typically given an equal weighting, and each indicator within the dimension is also typically weighted equally. Next question. World Food Day was established in November 1969. World Food Day is being celebrated every year on October 16 to commemorate the date of founding of United Nations World Food Programme. Food and Agriculture Organization is FAO, is a specialized agency of the United Nations and leads international efforts to defeat hunger. Which of the statement is given is correct? So the answer would be C here. World Food Day was established in November 1969 as suggested by former Hungarian Ministry of Agriculture and Dr. Paul Remini. It gradually became a way to raise awareness about hunger, malnutrition, sustainability and food production. World Food Day is being celebrated every year on October 16 to commemorate the date of founding of United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization 1945. About FAO, it is an specialized agency of United Nations that leads international efforts to defeat hunger. Headquarters is Rome, Italy. Founder 16 October 1945. And what is the goal of FAO? Their goal to achieve their food security for all and make sure that people have regular access to enough high quality food to lead active, healthy lives. The last one is Global Hunger Index tracks the performance of countries on which are the following parameters: undernourishment, child wasting, child mortality, child stunting. We had covered many times in the newspaper article. The Global Hunger Index is published by whom? Concerned Worldwide. And World Hunger Life. Published by Concerned Worldwide and World Hunger Life. So obviously all these things is the correct one. So D, GHI looks at the 4 indicators: undernourishment, which reflects inadequate food availability, calculated by the share of population that is undernourished, that is whose caloric intake is insufficient. Child wasting is acute undernutrition, calculated by the share of children under the age of 5 who are wasted, that is those who have low weight, their height. Child stunting, which means that reflects chronic undernutrition, calculated by the share of children under the age of 5 who are stunted, that is those who have low height for their age. And child mortality, which reflects both inadequate nutrition and unhealthy environment, calculated by the mortality rate of children under the age of 5, in part reflection of fatal mix of inadequate nutrition. The last one, recently the National Human Rights Commission issued an advisory of the Union and state governments to prevent and minimize the impact of ocular trauma. Ocular trauma is mainly affects what part? Answer would be here, eyes. So National Human Rights Commission issued an advisory to Union and state government to prevent the minimize the impact of ocular trauma, which it said caused 5% of permanent blindness. And NHRC asked the government to identify the industries that have a high potential of ocular trauma and make it mandatory for such units with 50 workers more than have accident cover to allow 15 lakhs for each workers. The Commission has observed the major contributors of eye injuries are road accidents, sports and occupation. So guys, this is all about the today's session. I hope you enjoyed this YouTube session a lot. Please, if you like this session, please like, comment and share to your friends so that everyone can get advantage. And we'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. And today at 3 p.m. that Hema ma'am will take session of deep dive of Global Hunger Index. Stay tuned at 3 p.m. today in the same YouTube channel. Bye bye and take care. I hope you enjoyed the class a lot. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Stay tuned at sharp 11:30 a.m. Bye bye and take care.